reports. I'm taking some use cases here and we'll discuss today like busting through email, and also we have an OIC approach, uh, inbound integration approach. That is called REST API approach. Recently in my current project I have done this REST API approach for all integrations. So giving some demo on this approach. Let me I will first will do in this one busting. BAP busting. Then we'll go for OIC integration. This is the busting query I have done. Yeah, this is the busting query. Okay, and this is the main query. We have attached this main query into busting query, and this query is relating to these suppliers and the party. So we have the POJet suppliers and POJet parties and POJet supplier addresses and everything sites we have. These are the hierarchies in the supplier. It is comes under procurement model. In this, it is a sub application. Let me I will show you in the front end. See here we have the procurement and Oracle. Here we have the suppliers. And we have few suppliers are created some, and we have the options under tasks. We have the options like manage supplier, supplier new creation, register supplier, and import the suppliers also. And when I'm executing this main query into the in backend, I will show you this. There are two ways we can go to the backend. Whether we can go for tools and report analytics, or else we can directly copy the URL and write it down like analytics. And when it comes to the tools, we have the browse catalog. When we click on this browse catalog, will comes to this page. This is the analytics page. The technical developers will work on in this area. This is the home page, and this is the catalog page. And we have the two folders here. One is my folder, another one is a share folder. And every development, we have the two types of reports. One is a standard reports, and it is a seeded reports, and another one is custom reports. So in custom reports, we have placed under custom folder. Okay, and standard reports we are placed under once we customizing the standard reports, we can place the custom under custom folder. And if you have any testing purpose or everything, for that those reports we are placing into my folders. Okay, this is only we can only access who have who are the user to access this backend. Currently this is the user is FinIMPL. So the FinIMPL user only they can access my folder reports. No other users they don't have access to my folder reports. Only specific user only they can access. And we have the share folders. Here we have like custom folder. Here they're placing all custom reports to their place. Okay. And once we getting yesterday we discussed, right, once we getting the requirement from the business team, that means functional team, then we start the build the queries. And after that once queries developed, then we'll go for a backend, and we can create the BA reports. See, this is the option. When we click on create button, we have the BA publisher reporting. Under BA publisher reporting, we have data model. First, we need to create the data model. Then after we can create the report. I will show you that. See, here we have the properties section and we have the data sets. These are the components, data sets, event triggers, and flex fields, list of values, parameters, and busting. Currently, we discuss busting. This is main topic. We are getting requirements from the functional team. So we discussed this one. Rest of things is we are doing frequently based on the client requirement. We are giving the LOVs and also we are giving parameters also for this report. So first of all, when we click on these data sets, we have the few options like to get the data, or like we can write the SQL queries, or else we can have the some other features also, HTTP and web services also. We can get the data from XML file, some other options. We will discuss these all options in further in our training. And now today we in this demo we discuss this SQL query because we have the one SQL query here. See, this is the SQL query we have developed to fetch all supplier details. In suppliers, we have hierarchy like suppliers, supplier name, and supplier site, supplier address, and supplier contacts. All this information. May I will show you this. Let's, for example, click on this one tall manufacturing one supplier here. See, here we have supplier address, supplier profile. It's a header part. Okay, like hierarchy level supplier, and we have addresses, and we have contacts, and have qualifications. So today, in this query, we are fetching supplier profile information and supplier. I mean supplier name and supplier number and the site name, and we have addresses also. So in this case, they are not created for the supplier. So we can get the supplier addresses also here. Let me, I will run this query. I will get the supplier name and supplier numbers in the backend. So based on that, we can give the busting query also. Here we have data sources. We are using these data sources. Application DB FSCM, Financial and Supply Chain Management, and application HCM, Human Capital Management, and application DB CRM, Customer Relationship Management. Currently, this queries comes under supplier list comes under FSCM. So we are selecting FSCM. And types of SQLs, we use standard SQL. Standard SQL in the sense the Oracle is providing some standard tables. So like for example, I will show you the tables here. We are discussing POJ suppliers, right? See, it is a direct login into docs.oracle.com and to search the tables, or else we can go for docs.oracle.com. And we have the cloud infrastructure OCA, and we have the cloud applications, the Fusion application suite. Here we have financials, supply chain management, and I mean manufacturing also, and human resources. And this all under comes under sales automation CRM part. When we click on this one, supply chain manufacturing, this one, it is here we have the APIs also. We have the web services, right? REST and SOAP we discussed in our trainings. Like it is comes under OIC part, web services. Click on all books. Here we have the sub applications like Oracle Cloud applications, logistic applications, maintenance, implementation, all these things. Order management is there. And click on these common features. Same. Here we have the procurement. See, when click on this procurement, we get the procurement tables, all books. And when click on this HTML, all this information, procurement information we have. How can we implementing procurement? All this information is there. So when it comes to this one, this is we have the tables, pivot and edged parties. All this information we have here. See, pivot suppliers information, and these are the standard tables. We didn't create any tables. Oracle only providing all tables. It is a seeded table, so we can pick the as per the requirement what fields they required as per the client requirement. We are getting columns from the here in this table, and we are writing the queries like this. This is simple query. Like this, we can build the queries. Then once building the queries, then we can execute this query into in data model. And we have the diagram, and we click on this diagram data, we can get the data. See, here we have some data. Initially we have the 5 rows, and we can extend this rows up to 200. Okay, and let me take some data, because for busting purpose we can take some data to hard code. We are hard coding here to get only specific suppliers. Then can execute this query. Here we are taking only few suppliers, 1, 2, and 3, 4 suppliers here. See, 4 suppliers only we are getting. Rest of things we are not getting, because we are hard coding here by using operator, and we have the data. So for busting purpose, I have taken only few data. Actually, we have more data. Whatever data we have in the front end, we are getting whole data when we are executing this query. So that's why I'm hard coding few records here. And once we getting the data, then we can prepare the busting query. So we have already busting query over here. See, in busting query, I'm giving this select class under select class. I'm giving the key. Key is the primary. We can identify this based on this prime party name. We are splitting the data, so that's why we are giving this name. And we have the supplier. I mean template. We need to give the template after developing the report. We have the template, so we can provide the template as well. So Let me, I will create the report. Once we have the report, once we have the data model, then we can create the report. Okay. Before creating the report, we must save as sample data here. We need to click on this option. Before that, we can save the data model. See, when first time when we are creating the data model, it will comes under my folder. We can put it in share folder under customs because it is a custom report. So we are placing in custom folder. It is comes under procurement. So we have the procurement module, or else we can directly you can pass these some folders over here, like supplier details. And here we are placing supplier.
అందుపడం చేస్తాను
ఇది అందుపడి ఇప్పుడా
దీంతో
I'm giving the name is supplier details data model DM. And now we are creating the data model. Now we need to create the report. So click on this save as sample data. Then we click on create report. Either there are two ways we can create the report. Either we can go for WeChat or else we can go for manual process. It's manual, and also we have the based on the requirement we have templates also. The further our training we are discussing all these things, templates like RTF and also Excel, and also we have XSL templates also, and e-text templates also we are discussing in our training. And just for a demo purpose, I am giving the straightforward direct approach. Yeah, before we giving this one generating the template, we must attach the data model over here. Whatever data model we are getting, we need to attach that data model for this report. Now we are attaching this data model into this report, and now we can provide the template name. Now already we have the query, right? Busting query. Here we have template name is supplier template. So I'm giving same template name over here. Click on generate. See, now the template and data we are showing here only for records. And after that, this is the thumbnails, and we can, if you want to add one more template, click on add new layout, and you can generate. Or else we have, if you have any templates like RTF and Excel templates or e-text templates, we can attach for here like that. Cancel and go to the view list. Under view list, we have the template name, template file name, and also type, and we have the output formats. In output formats, we have HTML, PDF, TF. Based upon the client requirement, we are enabling those output formats. Let's say, for example, from when we are getting the report, initially it comes under HTML. Now, if you want to convert into CSV, or else we can convert into Excel, but we can select if you want to CSV format or XML format, we can enable those options also. Then click on save. And now we are saving the report. The same whatever we are created the supplier data model. Those folders is navigated into those folder, and give the supplier a report name. Or sometimes we have the naming conventions, so we can give the naming convention also like this. Click on OK. Now we have the report also. See, when we click on this catalog button, it is navigated into our folder, our created folder, supplier details, and we have the data model and we have the report both. Now when it comes to this one, busting query, here we have template name we need to pass. So we are already given the template name in the report, and we need to give the local name, that is US. Okay, it is the local name in the sense the language, what language in this fashion they we are describing here. It is here in US English language, US based, and we have the output format. Output format is PDF. So we are giving here HTML. So we need to convert into PDF. Click on save. So every time the records, what we are getting records from in this PDF format. And we have the delivery channels also. We have multiple delivery channels. One is email, and we have a SFTP and fax, all these things. Mostly we are using these two, SFTP and email. Most of the time we are getting requirements from the client in these two options only, delivery channels. So in this case, I'm selecting email. In further our training, we are discussing SFTP also. How can we configure this SFTP in the Fusion, and how can we call this SFTP server name into the busting query, and how can we place the file into SFTP server. Those things also we are discussing in our further training classes. Okay. Now we given the test name is just giving the output name is test. When you are getting the file, we are getting the file name is test. Okay. And I'm giving the parameters. But just now I told it, for each delivery channel we have specific parameters. Let's say for example, in this case we have 10 parameters. Out of that, 8 parameters we are using. Based on this parameter, we are configuring all the values here. Let's say for example, the parameter one we are getting, two address we need to pass over here, and parameter 2 is CC address, and we have parameter 3 is from address. We have email, right? In email we have a from address, to address, CC, and subject, and body we are passing, and attachment values, and reply to, and BCC. These are the parameters is given for email delivery channel, and we are passing the configured all these values over here. See, and I'm giving the email. We can directly give the email address over here, or else we can get the data. To address. I'm saying to address from table also. See here we have a supplier email address. So I'm getting email address to address from this table. So that's why I'm giving alias name here email. So whatever data we're getting, whatever record we have here email address, those record it will be triggered over here in parameter. And parameter 2 is from address, CC address. So we are CC address also we are giving same thing, email alias name, email field only over here. And we have the parameter 3. Parameter 3 in the sense it is a from address. It is a Oracle address, Oracle email address here, and we giving the no reply at that oracle.com. This is the standard email address for Oracle. And we have the parameter 4. Parameter 4 is subject. Subject for email we given busting program testing. Okay. And we have the parameter 5 is message body. We are giving hi team. Please find the attachment for your reference. I'm giving the body name here, and we have the attachment is given true. If your output format is PDF, we must provide the true to attach the PDF. to the email address. So that's why I'm giving our two address here. And we have the parameter 7 and parameter 8 is not required. If you want, we can also pass the email address for both parameter 7 and parameter 8. But in this case, I'm not providing anything. So I've committed this one. And I will give the busting query in my analytics page here in my data model. See, when we can go to the data model when I click on this one also. See, here we have the components. We have busting component over here, and today in this demo we are discussing this busting rate. So it was this one, supplier busting, and we have data source. We are giving the FSCM, and we have the split by and delivery by. Split by and delivery by, in the sense it is splitting and which based on which field it's splitting the data. So in this case, we giving the party name. Already we given in this key, right? See, in the key we are passing party name. So that's why whatever key we are passing over here, the same thing we need to pass for split by and also delivery by also. Delivery by, this is based on this party name, it will delivering the data to the destination place. And I'm placing here busting query. Busting query we given in the from class, we are passing main query. Main query in the sense whatever query query we are giving the data set, those query we need to pass in the from class. After that, this is inside class we are giving busting query. Okay, busting query just now we discussed the key and template we are getting from the report template name and local name and all these things. Now we can save the data model, view data. Okay, now we are getting 4 records. Save it. Go to the catalog. And before running the busting query, we need to enable this one. We have the option busting enable option under report level. This is the report, right? We show supplier details report. We have the properties. In properties, we have enable busting. Already we are defining supplier busting, right? So we are enabling this busting and click on OK. Then click on save. If we observe here, in this query, I'm giving busting to address and CC address. It comes under email field, right? Email column, email address. So if you don't, this when we are hard coding the values, we don't have the email address. I will show you this. Email address is empty. So let's, for example, I will give the email address for these suppliers in the front end. Copy this party name and click on done, and here click on tasks. Here we have manage suppliers. Click on manage suppliers. Manage suppliers is once we creating the suppliers, we can search and get the suppliers by using this manage suppliers. If it is a first time creation, we can go for register suppliers. Using the keywords, we can pass the supplier name here and click on add button. Yeah, and click on this addresses, supplier profile, this one, header part, and click on addresses. We have the address here and click on sites. Okay. If we observe this one, contacts, we have the email over here. but in the addresses only we have the email. Click on this button. This is a supplier address, and this is specific contact person address. Okay. If you have any direct contact with supplier, we need to approach with contact person. Then it's supplier in the sense it's a organization. Okay. In this organization, we have the contacts persons. So we give the first name, last name, and everything, the contact person related. So this is not required currently for this testing. So I'm giving the supplier, supplier in the sense a direct supplier information, and we have the supplier address over here. So I'm giving the email address for this supplier address, email address. I'm giving my email address. Okay. I have over here. This is main concept suppliers, and we are implementing the project. We need to load the suppliers. The client will. Okay. Yeah. Here I'm passing my email address for this supplier, Share Technologies @gmail.com, and save and close. Go to the backend and run the report again. Come back and refresh it. And we click on this one. It's not save. You miss it. Save it. Submit. I'm submitting the supplies changes. See, the internal profile changes. One unique ID is generated was submitted. It concerns changes the require approval. It requires approval. So let me come back again. Go to the data mode. Click on view data. It's going for approval. So it will taking some time. Or else we can take the existing email addresses. It's like right like this. Is not okay. We are writing this condition. Is not null means we need to get the email address. So once again, see now it's updated. This Usha Technologies. Only in the front end, we have multiple suppliers, but we don't have email address. We have only one supplier. That is just now we configured this email. We are passing this email address Usha Technologies to. Okay. So this condition is not required. Only we're getting one record. So the remaining suppliers also we need to pass the address, email address. So copy this email, the supplier, and we'll go for into the front end and search for that supplier and go to the click on edit. In this manner, we can go to the address. Again, I'm passing another email. in the same email, I'm passing for these two records. We have two records now with same email address. Click on save and close, then click on save and submit. It will take some time for getting the changes approval. So it will take some time. Now we have two suppliers. The two suppliers are Lucky Tax Authority and Venodil suppliers. These two suppliers, we have email address. The email address is this Usha Technologies. So rest of this XYZ also we are passing same email address. Why we are passing this email address? Because we are getting from data from this field, this address we are getting from this field, and we are giving to address and CC address this one. So that's why we are passing the email addresses here. When you're getting this type of we are you also getting this type of requirements also from the from client. So you can must observe this this process. Click on submit and get this. The supplier hierarchy will discuss further classes also in our training. Don't worry about that. Just observe how can we create the data model, how can we create report. After that, how can we bust the data. Easy thing is click on submit. Click on OK. Now we have 4 records, and for these 4 records, I'm giving same email address. The email address is this one, Usha Technologies, @gmail.com. So please mute yourself.
Yeah, brother, I want to talk to you. Am I audible?
Now go to again refresh it. Data model. We are committed this condition, not none. If we can also pass this condition, if it is not required, you can remove. Because we have all records, email addresses, so we can directly execute this code. This is main query. So in main query, we are giving the data set. Now you can see here, we have email addresses. Before we don't have email address for these suppliers. After we are providing the suppliers, I mean this email address for the suppliers, we got suppliers from under email address, email field. See email addresses. Now we have the email address. In real time, we have different email addresses for each supplier. So in this case, we are giving for testing purpose, I'm giving same suppliers. Okay, click on save. Now data model is ready, and we have created data model and report also, and we have the email addresses also to push the report. From we have two address and CC address. Okay. Now click on this catalog button. In this folder, we are placing these two reports like data model and report. And for this report, when we click on, we have the open. open option. That means we can check the data. See, we have the only 4 records. It is default. We are giving the default output is PDF. So we are getting PDF. If you want to change, we can click on over here and we can change the like this HTML, or else if you want to RTF, that means in the Word document, see RTF, or else we can, if you want to use the Excel format, we can click on Excel, we can download the Excel file like that, and click on this catalog button. Now we have this. If you want to edit this report, you click on edit button. We have the more option. We have some options over here. If you want to schedule this report, we can click on the schedule. Based upon the frequency, we can schedule the reports or history. Once scheduling the report, we can check the success or failure in the history. And we have the jobs also. And we have, if you want to delete this report, we can delete this report. If you want to copy and place it some another folder, we can copy it and paste over here. We have options over here also, delete button and copy button and paste. Once copy it, this paste button is enabled like this. And we have the permissions also. If you want to give the permissions to the specific user and all these things, we can give the permissions also. See, here we have like 2 users. One is Harry Hopper and for FFA FA admin we have. So it's giving full access. If you want to restrict, we can restrict the for these users also. Like for example, only open option. Let's say for example, I'm giving this FA admin open option. That means that user only they can able to open this report. That's it. You don't have access to edit option like that. So now comes to the our topic. Here we have, now we are busting the report, right? So click on this output. See, automatically this use busting definition and determine of output and delivery options. It's enabled because we are enabling this busting option in the report level under properties. So that's why it's coming automatically. If you disable it, we can give the manually. That means if it is like, see, for example, email, when we click on this add destination, see, manually we can pass it here to address, CC address, reply to, subject, all this information. But in this case, we are busting the query. So this to address, from address, and everything you are giving the busting query only. Right? So we are enabling busting. Go to the schedule option. Here we have the frequencies, once, hourly, daily, weekly, based on the client requirement, we are selecting. So in this case, we are giving only once. We are running this report. So I'm selecting once. Okay. And I'm giving this email, notification, whether this schedule is successfully completed or not. If it is failed, we will get the notification, fail notification. If it is succeed, we will get the succeed notification. If it any warnings, we can also get. If any report is skipped, we can get the notification from this email. We can pass any email address over here. I'm giving my email address. This is not required. Let me enable this 3. Click on OK. September. What address is not? Yeah. We have click on this one, right? That's written. Again, go to the schedule. Okay. Once enable is notify, then click on this one. Click on submit. See, now we give the busting test 1. For we are testing, right? So I'm giving this name. The busting test 1 is successfully submitted. I'm submitting this one, this report. I'm scheduling this report. I'm submitted. Click on this return button. Now we'll go for history. See here, now the busting test one is succeeded. See, the busting report is succeeded. Now we are getting data from, we are getting data in email address. So when go to this email, see, we got the data. We have 4 records, right? 4 records. One is XYZ traders, Lucky Tax Authority, and Venodel suppliers, and Raj HP supplier. So we have 4 records here. See, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's splitting the data based on party name. Based on party name, it will splitting the data. We're giving split by and delivery by, right? So based on this split by and delivery by, splitting the data. So when we click on this one, party name, we have only 1 record. Like this, in real time also, we are giving the, we are preparing the besting query. This is same. This is common for in real time. I mean, when we are getting the requirement, this is common for all busting. I mean, busting per email address. I mean, this is only for if a email delivery channel is, we can pass these parameters. If we have a SFTP, the parameters are different. Okay, only these are common for all busting query. I mean, in select class. When it comes to from class, we are passing main query. Whatever you are built in the main query under data set in the data model, those query we are passing over here in under from class. Like this, one test case, I mean, one POC we are doing for busting. I hope everyone is understood. Everyone is, if you anybody have any questions up to here? Hello, any doubts? This is like simple busting topic, but in real time also we are doing same thing. But query will be different. That's it. The main query based on the requirement we are developing the query. Busting query is same. Any doubts? Hello.
No, 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 no.
No pressure.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Then we'll move for in our training we are discussing detailedly, but this is basic report. This is basic report. We are giving basic query over here. See, this is basic, but when it comes to in real time, we have uh, based on the requirements we are building the queries is a different way. That is which complex queries we are developing. So for understanding purpose, I am explaining this matter. Okay. This is supplier addresses. Okay, everything. Then when it comes to this integrations, in integrations we have 5 approaches. Okay. In inbound, we have 2 types of integrations. One is inbound integrations and outbound integrations. Under inbound integrations, we have 3 approaches. Okay, and we have in outbound integration also we have 2 approaches. One is in inbound we have REST API approach. Currently we done now in my project. The clients wants this approach, so we are doing this approach. The same thing I'm explaining in the demo section. It's using different business object. I mean, we are doing the work orders, but in this case, I am explaining suppliers because you know the some familiar about this work orders. Sorry, these suppliers now. I am explaining right the headers and the contacts, everything. So this is the API for this. This is the request payload for header. I mean supplier header information. How can we get this request payload? We have the, under docs.oracle.com, we are getting the APIs. Directly we can search for REST API for suppliers in Oracle Fusion, we can get this supplier APIs, I mean REST APIs. See, we have over here. See, get one supplier, and we will discuss thoroughly in our classes. But just for your understanding, we have these options like create, get, delete, and update. That means patch. We have some options. See here we have this is the Postman tool, and we have the options HTTP methods. These are the methods we have. Get method. If you want to get the data from the Oracle Fusion, we select the get method. If you want to create the data into the Oracle Fusion, we can select the post method. If you want to update whole request payload, we can select put method. If you want to update only the specific fields, I mean, for example, this is the field. Okay. If you want to update this field, we can select the patch method. Okay. And we want to delete the record. I mean, we have this record. Tall manufacturing one. This supplier we have. If you want to delete this supplier, we can select the delete option. But we must have the API for that. So in this case, we have only the create and the get and update only. We don't have delete option here. So we can't delete the suppliers. We don't have API. So in this case, we have the create one supplier and get all suppliers. In the sense, we are getting all suppliers from the Fusion. I will show you how can we get. I will do. How can we do all these things in our training also? Just for this is simple. Okay, this is simple. We don't need any coding and everything. This is Oracle only already providing all these REST APIs and everything. See, let's say for example, this response in get we have only response. We don't have request payload. When we click on this create supplier, we have the request and response payloads. See, in this case, we have this. This is the request body, request payload, and Oracle is providing some sample format. I'm taking this sample format and I'm placing in my notepad. See, but sometimes the clients wants to add some more fields, so we can identify those fields. They will give the mapping field, I mean mapping sheet, and we can identify what required fields we need to pass in the request payload. We can copy it and we can paste over in the request payload, and we can prepare the request payload as per the client requirement. But in this case, we are just for the demo purpose, I'm giving directly and I'm passing these fields. This is header informations we are creating over here. So I'm giving this name. I will give the one supplier name. Usha Technologies. I'm giving this name. Supplier name is Usha Technologies. I'm giving and copy this one. Before going to the REST API approach, first we need to test the in Postman. Then only we can go for integrations. Then we can build the integration. So first we need to test in this Postman. See, I'm passing this request payload over here and click on send button. But I'm selecting here delete. So this operation is invalid operation. See, we are getting that error message 400 bad request. Why? Because this API is only for create and get all. But in my case, I'm giving request body. Request body, when you are giving the request body, when we are creating the supplier, I mean creating the record, at the time only we are giving the post method. So I'm giving a wrong selected method. I mean this delete method. So that's why we're getting the error. Now we can rectify that error and select the post method. Click on the send button. Another supplier, tall manufacturing one, the taxpayer and already exist. It is already exists. So what we can do, we can pass different ports. and supplier with value already. So this one also. Give random numbers. Click on send button. This number is must enter 9 digits or 13 digits. So we must pass the 9 digits. Like this, when we are getting these errors, we can rectify and we can execute this request period. So see now we are getting 201 created. The request has been fulfilled and resulted in new resource being created. Whatever record we are passing in the request period, that record will be created in the front end. Now we can check this one in the front end, whether it is created or not. Refresh. Now go to this one. Click on search button. Now see, Usha Technologies, the only header information is created. Rest of things is empty. Header, address, and contacts and qualifications. Because this is, we are just creating the header information only. Whatever we have in the fields, the same fields we have in the API also. I mean request payload also. Supplier name, tax, organization type, and also supplier type. Supplier type is we are selecting services, so that's why it's coming service. And business relationship, dense number, and one time some supplier flag. See, dense number is there. Every field we have over here.
Okay.
Okay.
The one was the
Thanks for
automatic
training.
OIC, again, right?
Hello. Okay. Now we have tested this this API, the supplier API, and we successfully are getting one record. Now we'll go for integrations, and we can do the as per the client requirement. We are passing records over here. So now the requirement is what they want. Like the requirement is we have the one application, okay, and this application is wants to create they will trigger the endpoint URL. I mean, when we are selecting this app, we have the in integration we have two options. One is two patterns. One is app driven. That means in general we have application and scheduling, schedule orchestration. So if the client wants to push the data into the Oracle Fusion, that means when they want to trigger the endpoint URL and they will invoke and they will trigger the data. So that's why we are selecting this REST API approach, and we are selecting the app driven, because for this in the app driven only we are getting the endpoint URLs. I will show you once the integration is completed. And this is REST API why we are using. It is generated endpoint URL. So the client will invoke the endpoint URL, passes the data into Oracle Fusion. How can we do this? All these things I will show you. I will show you now. Let me. We have the request payload and response payload. Sometimes the clients they will give their own payloads, but in this case I am selecting only Oracle format. Okay, this is the Oracle format. So, but sometimes the clients giving different names. Let's say, for example, we have the supplier, right? Vendor, like vendor name. Like that, they will give the different names. Vendor name, organization type code, vendor organization type. Like that, in any format, they will give like XML or JSON format. We can able to build the integration, and we have the options to select the formats also. So we have the request payload and response payloads as given by the Oracle. This response I'm getting from over here. See, this is the response I'm getting. Already passing over here. So I've done in my variety in work orders the same manner. I'm gathering the information. I mean request payload and response payload, and also API also. So API we have API is this one on up to here. REST API. Okay, we have REST API. Now we'll go into the integrations. Before starting the integration, first we need to discuss the basic things, like we have the home address. After that, we have the integrations. Under design, we have integrations part. In Gen 2, we have integration name over here, but in Gen 3, we have design, and we have the monitoring section here, observability, and we have the VBCS and PCS options over here. But now in this our training, we are discussing only for integrations. So not for VBCS and PCS, we don't have on-hand experience on this too. So that's why we are discussing only integrations. So we have these components for the integrations, connections, events, and lookups, libraries. In the brief, we will discuss further classes for just for understanding purpose for integration, how we can we develop the integrations. Just we'll see this. Before developing the integration, we can create the connections. If you want to create the connection, we must have the adapter. Okay. So if it is a adapter is available, then only we can do the connections. Otherwise, we can't create the connections. So we have pre-installed already. That means Oracle is giving already pre-existing seeded adapters. So we don't have any option to create the adapters. Oracle only they will providing all adapters, but like some other applications also, SAP Workday and Salesforce, some other EBS, also on-premises applications, database applications, Oracle Fusion applications, everything will be there, and also web services and file servers. I mean that file adapters and SFTP, FTP adapters and everything. So in this case, in our requirement, the client they will pushing the data into the Oracle Fusion, right? I mean they will trigger the endpoint and they will push the data. So in this case, I'm giving REST adapter. So REST adapter, just now we tested it. This is REST API. Okay, REST API. So we are selecting here REST adapter and we can create the connections. See, when it comes to connections, we can click on this create button. See, select the first adapter. First, we need to select the adapter. We have the Salesforce adapter and web service adapter, REST adapter. So click on this one. Give the name. Like in this case, like we have two things we need to observe over here. First, we need to create the this one REST trigger connection. First, we need to create the REST trigger connection because the client request and response payloads we are passing under request, I mean REST trigger connection. Okay. Whatever it might be, they will providing the formats like XML or JSON format we are giving over here under trigger connections. Okay. So that's why we are creating first one trigger connection, and also then we'll go for invoke connection. That means Oracle format. I mean Oracle request payload and response payload we need to pass it because we need to create this suppliers. So in invoke we are passing the Oracle formatted JSON formats and everything. So that's why we are creating one more connection over here. That is invoke connection. Okay. Now we need to get two connections. One is trigger connection. Trigger in the sense initial stage, we are passing the trigger connection. When it comes to this integrations, when we click on this, let's okay. You can post any random. Let's say, for example, when I click on create button, we don't have any trigger connections on here. See, initial says it is empty, but we don't have anything. We need to pass the trigger. Trigger in the sense it's the initial stage of integration. We are passing the connections in the integration. So in this app driven, we don't have trigger connection. But when it comes to this schedule, see when we're selecting the schedule, give the any random name. But we have the one trigger connection over here, that is schedule. Okay, for scheduling the BAP reports or anything everyday files we are scheduling. So we have the schedule option for schedule orchestration. But when it comes to app driven, we don't have that option application. So in this case, delete this one. Now we need to create two connections. Okay. So that's why we are creating the trigger connection. Okay. We don't have the in application. We don't have a trigger connection. Why we are choosing app driven only? I mean application, because it will generate the one endpoint URL. We are placing we are forwarding that endpoint URL to the client. So after providing the endpoint URL, they will invoke that endpoint URL and they will pass the as per the trigger connection, whatever request payload and response payload we are given in trigger connection. The same manner they will push the data. I will show you how can we do this. Trigger REST connection. Now we have the roles. Just we discussed it, trigger and invoke. Now I am selecting trigger. This connection I can able to use only for in trigger level only, not for in invoke level. So I'm selecting trigger connection. That means in invoke means in middle of the integration and end of the integration, I can't use this connection. Only in initial stage of integration only I'm using this connection. So click on this create button. So for this one, we are not passing anything. I mean credentials. Just we are selecting basic authentication. This basic authentication in the sense the OIC username and password. I will show you. Can do this. Click on test and save. The connection is saved. See now it comes under draft configured mode. Before it was draft mode. Now it's converted into. Now we are getting one more connection that is invoke connection for giving the Oracle form. So I'm selecting here invoke. This connection we can use only in middle of the integration or end of the integration. We can use these connections. This connection. Now they asking like credentials. See the connection type is REST API base URL. I'm selecting and I'm passing the connection URL over here. And we have the user fusion URL we are passing here. And I'm passing username here, password also. Now we can test the connection. Save the connection. Now we have two connections. One is trigger connection, one is invoke connection. Now go to the integration and create the integration. We are selecting application. So here, show supplier integration. This version is automatically populated 1.0. And if you want to give the keywords for this integration, we can pass the keywords for searching the to get this integration when we are searching these keywords. And we have the packages also. We have multiple, I mean, for multiple integrations, we are placing into one package. In package, we have multiple integrations. It is helpful for data, I mean, integrations migration from test to prod. We will discuss all these things in our training. Now see here, we have we don't have any trigger connections over here. It is empty. See, when we are comes to the trigger point, we're getting only trigger connections only. Whatever the role is trigger, those connections only will be populated over here. See, we have just now we created trigger, this one. So here what we are doing, creating the supplier. So that's why giving the name. What do you want to call your endpoint? Create supply. And here we can see here what is the endpoint relative resource URI. So I'm giving my URI like create supplier. URI in the sense like here if we observe this one, we have this /suppliers, right? This is given by Orchid. But if you want to identification purpose, we must give the one URI. Like it is like it will generate the endpoint URL, right? I'm saying in the app driven, it will generate one endpoint URL. So in the end, in suffix, it will comes like this name like /sub create supplier in the end of the endpoint in end of the endpoint URL. We're getting this one /create supplier. Now we are creating the supplier. So I'm creating the method. We have the methods we just now we discussed, right? That's why I'm saying first we need to test the postman. The same thing, then we'll go for integrations. So I'm selecting the postman here. Now we don't need any parameters. Parameters in the sense like if we have any hierarchy, like just now we discussed, right? Supplier address. For example, if we are creating the supplier address, then we need to pass the supplier ID. Okay. So for in this case, we don't require. Let's say, for example, this is the address. Okay. Let's create one contract address here. See, they're asking one supplier ID. This is the parameter. Okay, that's why in this case we don't have any parameters, so we are not enabling that. We have the request payload and response payload, so that's why I'm selecting these two options. Click on continue button, and now we give the request. We are enabling two options, right? One is request, another one is response. So that's why it's showing here configure the request. See here JSON sample automatically it comes like in JSON sample. But for example, if the client is giving XML format, we can select the XML. If it have a XML schema, we can select the XML schema. So in this case, we are using only for JSON format, right? This is the JSON format. This is JSON format. So we are giving the JSON format. If you have a file, then we can click on this button and we can get the file. Or else we can give the manually also. Inline we have the option inline. We can give entering into the manually, like in this method. This is all the client, whatever data, I mean, whatever format they will giving, those request payload we are placing over here in the trigger connection. Okay. Now we are using Oracle format only. So we are giving Oracle payload. Now the response payload also same. Save the response payload. Okay. See why you're getting there? We have the comma in end of this. Remove the comma. Then click on continue. Finish. Click on this horizontal. Now we giving the trigger connection, whatever client they're passing the formats, those formats we are giving in the trigger connection. Now we are giving the invoke connection here for see when we click on this after the trigger point, we are selecting this. We can see here invoke connections here. All are invoke connections. So in this case, just now we created one invoke connection, REST connection. So I'm selecting here. In this connection, what we are giving? In this connection, we are giving Oracle format. That means whatever we are giving, we are passing here everything. I mean request folder and response folder. This is standard, but in trigger, it's based on client. We are giving based on client format. We are giving the trigger connection, but in this case, we are in supply Oracle format only. Supply. See here they are asking URI endpoint URL. See already we have the endpoint URL. We are placing here. So copy this. That means Oracle providing endpoint URL. This one. Be patient. It's more. I'm taking more time, but try to understand. Now I'm posting post method. That means create software. So I'm selecting the post method. Here also I'm giving same things and request payload and response payload as per the Oracle format. So click on this inline and give the manually. We done same manner in my current project for the work orders. And then next click on continue and we give you the response format also. So in this case, we Oracle response format is already we are giving, already we have stored in Notepad. Copy the format. Click on continue. See when we click on this endpoint, we have the test APIs or whatever data we are passing here. Method is post and JSON request media type is JSON and response media type is JSON. Click on finish. This trigger connection, we are getting data from the client in client given format. I mean request payload and response payload. But in invoke connection, we are giving standard Oracle format. That means this one. Just now we tested in the Postman, right? This is the request payload and this is the response payload. This is okay. Now we are giving we developed this basic integration, and we have any for we getting the data in the response here. Okay, in the last mapper, we are getting the response, and this data if you want to store in the ATP database, we can invoke the ATP database here, or else if you want to place the file, convert them into the file and place into SFTP server, then we can convert into this data into file format, then place into SFTP server based upon the client requirement. Or else if you want to, that file will, if you want to place into in email notification, if you want to send that file into email notification, we can convert the file and trigger the, I mean, we can invoke one email notification here and send it that file into email notification. But in this case, for just for demo purpose, this is all under we are discussing in our training, but the demo purpose I'm not discussing those things. See, after one creating the integration, small integration, we have the primary business identifier for tracking this integration. in which field based we are tracking the integration, we need to drag that field over here. So based on supplier name, I'm tracking. So that's why giving here supplier. Okay. Now click on save. In detail, we are discussing everything in our training, but for demo purpose, I'm saving this one. Let me come back. Now we have, it is configured mode. Now ready to activate this integration and run it. So I'm activating this integration. We have these options: production, audit, and debug. Debug in the sense it's the activity streams. When we are run the integrations, it will generate one activity stream code. I mean tracing code instance ID that is available up to 44 hours. After 44 hours, it will be expired. For testing, I will explain that what is production and everything in our training. Just activating that integration. Now we have this API. See, we have the API here. Whatever we given in the trigger connection slash create supplier. See, we can able to see here. Up to here, we have this integrations connections. But after that links, and after that we have the integration name and version 1.0 and the trigger, the URI slash create suppliers, and this is the endpoint URL. This endpoint URL we are giving to the client. So once we giving this endpoint URL, the client will invoke. How can we invoke? Just one, I will show you in here only. Then how can we invoke the client? I will show you in the Postman. Okay. Just for I will run this integration. Sorry, it is empty, right? Okay. I'm getting the error because I'm directly running. Share technologies test. I'm giving the test. Usha Technologies test. Supplier names Usha Technologies test. Then give the different names. Okay. Click on run button. See, this is the activation. See, getting internal error. One is bad request. Why we are getting this? You can see the error notification, error details also. Okay, we are not mapped as of now. Okay. Yeah, understood that. Sorry. Now we need to map those fields, trigger and invoke both. We missed that part. See, we have the source and target. In target, we have the trigger request wrapper, and we have the invoke request wrapper. Whatever the formats we are given. Let's say, for example, the client giving different formats, we have different field names here. But in this case, we are giving the Oracle format only. That's why we given. So we are giving the same field names. We are mapping to the trigger and invoke. I mean, source and target. Now the request wrappers is completed. Validate it. We are map everything. Now we map into the response also. We are getting here response. See here, invoke create a request and invoke creates response. Now once we I mean we are already giving the request mapper, right? Now once we run the integration, it will generate the response. Say for example, we are giving the request payload. We are map those request payloads trigger and invoke. After that, we'll get the response. Where we are getting the response in invoke connection. So invoke connection name we are giving. I mean that name invokes create supplier. So here we are getting the response. And already in trigger we are giving the response also, right? request. This is client format. This is client format, but in this case, we are giving Oracle format. So we need to map those things. This is Oracle format. We are getting the data in this format. So I'm mapping these things. We have more fields.
Brother, hello,
Yeah.
brother, we can stop here, but we have some doubts.
Yeah. These are.
We can discuss on the session.
Please ask me what we have to.
Correct. Here we are creating PIP reports, right? So
No. BAP report is that is different
not here.
topic.
What is the use of PIP reports, brother? So that's what to know.
What is the use of BAP report? The clients wants to see the data in the they're giving some fields, right? The format in and they're given the fields and format. So based on that, we are building the query and they want to check the data. So that's why we are building the BAP reports. They have the requirement, so that's why we're building that. Now, let's say for example, now we are creating supplier, right? How many suppliers we have, we don't know, right? But when we are querying this supplier query and executing that, we are getting all suppliers in whatever that whatever suppliers they created in the front end, whole
Your
suppliers
voice is
were
breaking. Brother.
okay. We have more fields, so still that. We are getting data in this left side Oracle format. We are mapping to in client's format in right side. Okay, we need up to. Okay, we can. Whatever fields we are mapping up to there, we will get the response. Remaining fields we are not getting, so that's why we are mapping whole response data. Once we are mapping, validate it successfully. We are validated. Now click on save it. Come back. Now activate this one. Now we'll go for run button. Now see here body. Now we are giving test right. We are getting verified. So now we can run this. See the 200. Whatever we given in the trigger connection, I mean in the request payload, in this format we are passing the data in this format, and whatever format we are giving in the response, those format we are getting the data here. This is client's formats, okay? But in this case, we are giving Oracle formats. That's it. Now, how the clients they will invoke the this one. See here we have the endpoint URL. Just we discussed it. We have the endpoint URL and go to this Postman. They have their own API. This like Postman tool, like a Postman tool. They have their own web service tool. So directly they will invoke it and they will pass the basic thing. Okay, let me, I will stop this sharing. I'm giving my password, username and password here. Here we are passing, we need to give the under authorization, we are passing username and password, that is OIC username and password. Okay. In real time also we have you are the user, right? So you can pass your username and password over here. And let me, I will share my screen. And we have the raw data. Raw data in the sense we give the request payload here. See, I'm passing here endpoint URL and I'm giving authorization also, username and basic authentication. Like here I am selecting right authorization, like fusion credentials, username and password, like that we need to pass here and select the method, which method we are giving in the trigger connection, post. So I'm selecting the post here. And raw data in the sense request payload. Request payload we are giving in this format in the trigger connection. So this is the Oracle, sorry, client pass giving given request payload. So I'm passing this one. And integration, I'm giving the unique name Usha Technologies integration, and change the dunce number. And also every time like this every time the client they will pass the data, they will invoke this endpoint URL and they will pass the data, and every time they will push the data. I mean, they once we sending this when we are running this integrate, I mean this API endpoint URL, every time they will create in Oracle Fusion like this. If you want to check this supplier is created in the Fusion, I mean in the front end, go to the front end. Let me cancel it. Done. Search the integration. Just now we are creating the supplier. See, the supplier is created. Like this, not only the supplier, work orders and purchase requisitions, purchase orders, whatever the business object, they want to push the data into the Oracle Fusion. This is one of the approach. Okay, this is one of the approach. Let me, I will stop the sharing. Okay. Let me, I'll share my screen. So this is one of the approach. So in OIC, we have one approach, that is a REST API approach. In this manner also, we can push the data into Oracle Fusion. I mean, we are getting data from the third-party application in this approach. We have the another approaches also, everyday loading, bulk data. That is also one of the approach, and where data synchronization. I mean, from Salesforce to Oracle Fusion, SAP to Oracle Fusion, like that. Event based, and we have the outbound integrations also. That means from Oracle to third party applications. That means it's going data to outside. So that's why it's outbound. So we have the business event approaches and invoke behave report approaches also in this case. So these all approaches we are discussing in our training. Most of the time, 98%, this approaches we are getting the requirements from the client. I mean from business team. I mean functional team. So these approaches are main important. Up to here, anybody have any questions? I hope everyone should understand. Have any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, brother, during the training, so can we get the documents that you have?
Your voice is very low, Dharmateja.
Can we get those documents, brother? Like,
Documents?
yeah. Can you share
Yeah, I
the
will provide the documents also. Yeah, I'm providing documents also. I mean, once we have the documents, requirement documents, I will show you I will open in my class and I will show you the requirement. First, I will explain the requirement. After that, I will start the integration. Once we creating from scratch the integration, once I will do that integration, after that I will providing the document to you, and you will try to practice on same integration in our different example. I mean different example. Like for example, I'm giving this example, right? Suppliers. So you can try to different business object like purchase requisition or purchase orders, customers, or AP invoice or AR invoices, like that. Try to do in different I mean approaches like business subjects.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's easy. Don't worry about this. Everything is all are easy things, but be patient and be focus on these things. Definitely you will understood everything, I hope. Yeah, don't worry about it. We will go for in the training, we'll go for step by step, one by one. Don't worry, hurry up. But for just demo purpose, I will explaining too fast. But in training, we'll give for each approach will take 2 3 days, like that. And I mean different concepts. Let's say for example, we have the data now. We need to transfer that data into ATP database, and convert the file into place into SFTP server, email notifications, and we have the error handling, common error handling, notifications, integrations. Everything will be discussed. Yeah, in our
Okay.
yeah. I will provide the documents also. Once we, I mean, once class is finished, that approach, I will provide the document. Then based on the document, you can try to different business object. I mean, different business objects. Just natural, right? Purchase requisition, purchase order, like that.
So we can get the instance access for 2 months, right?
Yes, I'm giving the instance access also up to 3 months. I'm giving. After that, Fusion instance is free. Even after 3 months, also I will giving free.
Version is free.
But OIC instance, I'm charging 1,000 rupees per month.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Okay, that's
Yeah.
Syllabus. Hello.
Okay, any doubts?
You have shared that syllabus, sir.
Sorry.
You have shared that syllabus respective to that OEC and that Fusion.
Yes, already I have shared that. Okay, let me share again.
Yeah, please share it. I didn't get that.
Yeah, I have shared in chat. Please look into that. Yeah, day after tomorrow we are starting the classes. Okay. So anybody have any, I mean, if you have interest, you can ping me in WhatsApp and we will discuss.
What is the cost of the training program?
It's less fees, only 15,000 we are charging, and we are providing everything. I mean, documentations and all topics we are covering from SQL to up to OIC integrations, not for VBCs and PCS. Integrations only. So now we have demand in market also, huge demand. Yeah, you know already. Yeah, I think you know. Yeah, we are covering all topics. If we, I mean, it is a real time training only. That means we are getting the requirements from the functional team, right? The same thing we are discussing, the same documents we are discussing in our class, and once we developing from the scratch, after that class is finished, then we'll share it, those documents to you, and you can practice different business. I mean, different approach. In this way, we have the training. So once we understood, then only we'll go for another topic. Otherwise, we will resolve that issue. I mean, if you are facing any issues in the practicing, we are resolving the issue, then we'll go for another topic like that. So first, by end of the day, you must understand the topic. That's the main motto here. Yeah.
Classes will be recorded classes will be downloadable.
Yes. Yes. Daily we are recording. Um, I mean, the classes we will recording daily, and we are sending the end of the day those recordings. It's a lifetime access.
It's not downloadable, or
It's a downloadable only. Yeah, it's
okay.
downloadable. Yeah.
It's a online or offline class?
Sorry.
Through online only, no? Not through offline.
No, it's online only. If you
Okay.
want to come to my location, you can join here, or else you can attend in online. But recording, yeah, we don't have offline uh, training, but we have in only in online training. If you want to come to my location, it's a plus point for you. I mean, you also see my work and everything, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the good I mean approach. Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever
Anybody have any question? Yeah, please.
whatever you have specified in that what is the syllabus, you will provide the documents for that contents.
Sorry.
Whatever the contents that you have specified in the syllabus, for that we will do hands-on exercise and we will provide the
Yes.
document
Yes.
after my understanding, correct?
Yes. Yes. Correct. Any doubts? Anybody have any doubts?
Yeah, no doubts.
Okay. Okay, guys. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Prasad, just share your number, Prasad, so that tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Oh, you want my number?
Yeah, yeah, please.
Okay. 1 minute. I will ping you in chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prasad,
Please look into.
class timing will be in the morning only, no? Not in the.
Yes. Yes. In morning only. From 8 to 9 or 9 to 10. We need to discuss once all members are. We need to take consent from all members. Everyone is accepted. One timing, then we'll follow those timings. So 9 to 10 or 8 to 9.
Okay,
It's
solid it will
like
go for 2 months only, no? Correct.
yes, yes, 2 months only. Daily it will be take 1 hour or 1.5 hour based on the topic. But we need to elaborately we can explain everything, right? So you must understand the topic and everything. That's why it will taking some time. I mean 1 hour or 1.5 hour.
Okay.
And also we need to discuss if you have any facing issues. I mean, when we are practicing the topic, so we need to resolve that. Then we'll move for another topic like that. Yeah. Yes. Any doubts? Omar, NK, Dharmateja, Deepika. Any doubts?
No pressure.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Omar, NK, Dharmateja.
Yeah, no.
Okay, Dharmateja. Any doubts? NK and Omar. Okay, if you have any doubts or any queries, please ping me in WhatsApp. I will reach out to you. Okay. Yeah. Thanks you. Thank you. I'm end of this section. It's
Thank you.
recorded. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Thank you.